He didn't raise his hand. Oh, he did. Okay. Look, it's he's relatively close. He played. We didn't really know after the Twickenham test, but he pulled up a bit sore. It's more of a jarring type injury than anything else in that knee. So it's a precautionary thing in some ways, but we'd like to think that he'll be back and available next week. We were going to play both those two in that position at Twickenham. That changed with the red card and things unfolded. But look, Daltz has played plenty of rugby this year. We've got a lot of faith in both of them. We just feel for this game that way round will be good for us. I think it gives us the ability to have two guys whose instincts are at the ball, but also Daltz brings a pretty strong ball carrying and is quick around the park. So, he's been a big part of our group over the last 18 months and he's deserved it.
Thank you.
Am I speaking too fast?
Sam, we've heard for the last wee while actually that it's felt like quite a long build-in to this in Germany and then Lyon. Now that you're here in Paris, you're seeing this. Do you feel like you've got a bit of a sense of the occasion that awaits on Friday?
I think when we spoke earlier in the week, it was the opening ceremony or the welcome to Lyon for us getting the capping that had the team sort of buzzing and realising it's just around the corner. And then, now that we got into the process of a normal training week, we've had put a lot of good work in. And now we've made the trip up here on train. It sort of just feels like a lot of the hard work's been done now and the excitement's certainly starting to build.
Ian.
There's been reports in the media today about one of the top teams inquiring with World Rugby about the sanctions in place for if a team is found to be spying on another one at a training. Do you have any idea what team it was that made that inquiry?
No, I haven't heard of that, but and it wasn't us. But was anyone spying on us? Okay, that's cool.
What do you make of the conversation about espionage taking place at the World Cup?
Welcome to the World Cup. It's that simple. There's a lot of pressure on. People react different ways. It's an exciting time, and everyone's looking for an edge. And so I'm not sure where that one's come from. We're pretty confident that we've been training alone, but who knows?
Ian, how much of a blow for Imoni to be ruled out of this tournament, and when did you make the decision?
Oh, look, incredibly sad. He in the Twickenham week he ran his fastest time of the year. He was coming back. And so his preparation has actually been really good, trending right up. It's obviously been a niggling back from the Argentinian test. And he was coming right, we felt. He trained really well, what's today, Wednesday or Monday. And it was actually the last thing he did in a skill block that he jarred it, and it turns out that it's the other side of the disc, and it's incredibly sad for him. He's worked hard to get here, and we were excited about where he was at, but the best thing for him now is to go and rehab at home. So it's not the nicest thing to do as a coach right at the start, to tell someone they're going home, but he's a popular part of this group, and I know he'll do the right thing, and we'll sort out the plan for a replacement probably after Friday's game.
Is it likely you'll go like for like in terms of another outside back?
Oh, we'll weigh that up basically after Friday, and just to see where we're at. But we clearly have to make a change, and it could be there, it could be in the loosies. We're just looking at the progress of Brodie Retallick, Shannon Frizzell, the likes of those guys, and we'll assess that after this weekend.
Just in terms of the backdrop to Twickenham coming here, having a couple more injury setbacks, how do you feel the team's placed just generally going into this opening game?
Look, really good. I think when you have a couple of injuries, people start writing the list down, but we always knew Brodie and Shannon weren't going to be right for this game, so we've been able to prepare accordingly. They're both trending really well. I thought Guzzler was going to have a smack with me when I told him that he wasn't quite right, because he believes he is, so he's pretty close. So I guess it's just the Geordie and the Imani one that have, surprised us a little bit this week, but that's the game, and I think you're going to get that in all the teams. But we're in a good place. We've had a good prep. We've had a great rugby championship. We had a great, if you look at the performances against South Africa, Australia, and suddenly we're World Cup favourites, and then we don't do very well in Twickenham in a warm-up game, and suddenly we're the worst All Black team ever. So, we smile at that, and we're quite excited about where we're at.
Can I just interrupt for one moment? I apologise for this, but Greg has just told me that the translation app is now working. So for the French journalists, if you want to scan that QR code, you'll get an automatic translation on your phone. If you want to put your hand up, if you'd like to scan the code, Greg will come around and help you with that. Okay, Liam.
Do you want to give them a chance to do that, or might be fair? Then I can see which ones don't speak English. Kareem? We'll just talk amongst ourselves. Not with the mics on. I hate those things.
Just in terms of the atmosphere that you're going to confront at Stade de France, how important is it to start well, to try and quell the crowd and not let France get a bit of a roll on?
Oh, it's always on the wish list when you play away from home, but definitely for this one, we were here in 2021, and the environment I thought was a beautiful environment for rugby. I think the whole crowd was in a fantastic mood, and we know how well France started that day and put us behind the 8 ball. So, we know what's coming, but it's going to be amplified, I think, with, there's an opening ceremony, it's a special occasion, and, that's what World Cups are about. So, we wouldn't want to be anywhere else, quite frankly. It's a privilege to play this game, this first game. So, we know there's going to be an onslaught early, but we've just got to make sure that we're the ones involved in doing that as well.
Yeah, just one question about the French team. Jonathan Danty will not play for the French team on Friday. Is there a big difference for your team to play against Yoram Moefana at 12?
So that was Dante, was it?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess so. But, Moefana's a very competent player, has played a lot of rugby, and I think you'll find that, France has been like us the last couple of years. They've built depth and built options, and, you get used to playing with a certain combination, but, they've certainly had a number of tests without Dante, and they've gone good without him. So, and, would have been a nice matchup, Geordie versus Dante. It's not to be, but who knows? Maybe it might happen a little bit later.
Ian, you brought up that comment that was made about, the worst team in history. Do you use that to motivate this side?
No, I just got told about it on my way in, so I just thought I'd use it. It sounded good press.
Sam, could you put it on the changing room wall, use it for a bit of motivation?
No, look, this team's got plenty of internal motivation, so we're not too worried about comments like that.
Tell this means that you change the pressure on the French shoulder with a lot of injuries they had. Do you think it's the hardest game they have to play against you for the last 4 years?
To me? Well, I hope so. it's I don't know if it's their hardest game or not. I couldn't really tell you because I know this French team has been playing some great rugby over the last two years, and everyone's been able to see them build. We've also seen them put under pressure, and you know they have to deal with expectations, and they have to deal with the same crowd and that's got massive expectations that we have to. So you know, part of World Cups is about the mental side. It's about having the confidence and the courage to play the game that you need to play at the right time. And really, until it all starts, that's when we'll see where people are at. And like I said, this first game has been built up as a massive game. It's, you know, if you look at the key objective in World Cups is to get out of your pool and get into a quarter final. That's the #1 objective that we have. And so we'd love to do it with a great performance against France, make things a bit easier, and I'm sure they're the same.
Harold, we're from the Japanese television NHK. So recently we feel that your team scrum looks like forwarding from the left prop. Do you do it intentionally or not?
Yeah, I missed that a little bit. Yes.
Okay. So recently we feel that your team scrum looks like forwarding from the left prop. So do you do it intentionally or not?
Does our scrum move on the
left
prop?
Yeah.
No, not deliberately. But if he pushes harder than the right prop, then it normally goes round. But look, we're happy with our scrum. We've been scrumming really strong this year. I thought that, you know, and again 2 weeks ago in South Africa we didn't scrum well. We obviously lost Tyrell Lomax at a time. We then had a red card, and that put our scrum under a lot of pressure. But I think the scrum will be a big factor in the game on Friday. You know, both teams will be looking to establish some degree of dominance there, and again, it's an area that we know we have to be good at. And but you know, I don't think it's certainly not a one-person scrum. Scrumming's all about the combination of 8, and that's what we've been working hard
on. Ian, just back to the midfield. What have you seen from Anton, I suppose, this week? You know, Geordie's been your guy at 12 this year, and minimal tests for Anton. Obviously, the suspension played a part in that. But what have you seen from Anton this week?
Look, Anton's very experienced. He's had a couple of years that have been disrupted. But, you know, behind the scenes, he worked really hard at his game. And, you know, with his, you know, he covers 12 and 13 for us. And we just felt that, you know, we've got Davey, who's come back from a long injury. He's only had... you know, he's only had one hit out for back at Tasman before he came over here, so that's the issue that we have. And so I felt he was a little bit underdone, but again, he's training really, really well. So it's really, I guess we've gone with Anton's experience. It's a big stage. I think he's craving an opportunity to show that he's, you know, he's got his confidence back after sort of, like I said, quite a disruptive couple of years, and we got a lot of faith in him.
Ian, I just wonder as well, you've got quite a few World Cup debutants named in your team. I remember Graham Henry, the last World Cup, quite famously said that those guys who were going to make their World Cup debuts would be shitting themselves ahead of the game, excuse my language. How do you go about making sure that those guys about to enter this stage are in the right headspace for this?
Yeah, good question. I think there may be some World Cup debutants, but a lot of them have actually been involved for the last couple of years, so it's not like we have a lot of brand new players. But it's it's part of the beautiful thing of World Cups. You know, you tell stories, you prepare. You know, it's well documented. We had a number of our sort of older players, legacy players, involved for a few weeks before we came. And our leaders, you know, led by Sam, they've done a really good job in just getting people ready. But to be fair, it's hard to tell the whole story until you run it on that field and you feel the crowd and you sense the moment. So, look, I think the fact we've got a few that haven't played in a World Cup is a strength. I think they're excited, and our goal is to make sure we don't burden them with too much pressure on what's going to happen. We've just got to make sure they just go and do what they do, and that's the goal.
Hey Fozzie, George here from the Front Row Daily Show.
George who, sorry? George Bell.
George Bell. You've named my scrumptious front row. How important our front row is heading into this week?
Really important. You know, they're the most annoying people in the team, the front rowers. They eat the most food. They take the longest to warm up and come out of the shed before they train, but they're special people. And all joking aside, I think I've mentioned it before, you know, their contribution, you know, we expect a lot out of our props in the modern game. And I think we demand scrummaging, we demand quality lifting, mauling, and then we demand high involvements around the park in terms of tackle and technique and ball carrying and cleaning. So the big boys have a big game ahead of them. But you know, we're really confident in the group we've got, and we know they're working hard and they can't wait to strut their stuff.
Sam, I don't know if you're a emotive, passionate pre-match talker, but what will you say to the team prior to running out tomorrow night?
I can't tell you, because what if they read the paper and then they know? It won't be a surprise.
Give us a theme.
Look, there'll be a bit of a recap about, there'll be a couple of key messages normally from the defensive side of the ball, a couple of key messages often from one of our key drivers, like our 10 or our 15 around attack, and we'll just talk break it down how we want to start the game. Look, the occasion's going to be enormous, and I don't think the group will need any firing up for it, that's for sure.
Hi Sam, Sarah Orchard, BBC. France and New Zealand have provided some of the most exciting moments in World Cup history, and you have one of the best rivalries. What are your memories growing up with those rivalries? Any particular matches you remember that inspired you as a player? And how do you feel about maybe making a bit more history on Friday night?
Yeah, great question. Straight away thought of the disappointment as a teenager watching the 07 quarterfinal. And then the heights, and I suppose the nervousness of, I was lucky enough to be able to watch the 2011 final in person. So it was a pretty special occasion, and then sort of quickly moves into my own personal experiences, and then probably one of my favourite test matches to have been a part of was the 2015 quarterfinal. So a couple of highs and lows there. My memory doesn't go back too much further than that. But yeah, really excited. I think Foz said it's a privilege to be able to play this first game to kick off the 2023 Rugby World Cup against the home nation, who would probably be considered favourites. It's going to be a seriously special occasion, and we can't think of a better way to start our Rugby World Cup, and hopefully there's some moments of magic out there. I'm sure there will be.
Thank you.
Thank you. Merci.
That's a good
Hey, Bodie. We haven't heard from you since you've touched down in France. Could you just talk through the first few days in Lyon and the arrival in Paris and how this World Cup's been for you so far?
Yeah, it's great to be in France, and we felt that the day we arrived, started feeling real, and this World Cup's been a long time coming, and we're finally here, spending some time up north and then in Lyon and now being in Paris. It's been a great week of preparation so far, but we also had some good prep up at the Germany headquarters, so we're ready for this game.
How's Geordie doing, and how's the adjustment from a backline perspective, having Anton slot into that 12 jersey?
Yeah, Anton's Mr. Fix-It and versatile. He can play 12 and 13. Geordie's obviously a bit down at the moment, but he'll bounce back. He's a very determined young man, and Anton and Rico have had a great week together, so he's slotted back in seamlessly.
Aaron, when you come to another World Cup, does the sense of excitement leading into an opener ever change?
Oh, this one's very special, and I think, definitely for me anyway, when the game got announced that it was France at home at Stade de France, you can't help but, vision and dream of being in those moments, being in those environments, and playing at such in our sport, the pinnacle event. And it's finally here. We've had a couple of weeks since, nearly a month since the squad was named, a week at home, and then a week in London, Germany, and it's just like that build up to want to get to this special moment. And we're 2 days away, and as a competitor, you just want these moments.
Somewhat naturally, a lot of conversation in the build up to this has been around you v Antoine. Do you relish that sort of challenge?
Well, I think Anton Dupont is an amazing athlete and an amazing player, which is he's proved in the last few years around receiving awards, and he's obviously their captain and key figurehead for their team. But I've learned in my time during rugby in New Zealand around if you make the game around the matchup, you tend to not do your role as well or focus on what you need to do. And for me, the game's not about me versus him. The game's about me doing my role for our team. And obviously, defensively, our game has a big eye on Dupont and what he can do, and about shutting that down. But that's not just me; it's as a collective. And they've got plenty of players across the park that are very dangerous.
Aaron, another question about Antoine. We have seen him on a documentary last weekend, also in cartoons, also in rugby show, everywhere. Antoine Dupont is probably the second person important in France after the president. Do you think it's not too much for him? And do you think, as you have the experience of the pressure every day as an All Blacks, the pressure helps, or it's hard to play with?
Well, it sounds like a question you'd have to ask him, but I think from everything I've seen from him since playing him a few years ago, he's just taken it all in his stride. But, I'm sure there's a lot of pressure, but it seems to help his game. Bigger the stage, bigger the moment, he usually stands up. And, so I hope he's feeling the pressure of it. But, like I said, there's more than just Antoine in this game. I know he's got the whole country behind him, no doubt, but it's about, you'd have to ask him, mate.
And defensively, is it reasonable to have special plans against him?
I'm sure every team that goes across, plays Dupont, has to have plans, and we've got our plans, and we're going to execute them.
Question for you, Boden and Aaron, about Romain Tamac is injured. He should have played this World Cup, but he's injured. Mathieu Jalibert take his place. Do you know him, and what do you think about this player, Mathieu Jalibert?
I think he's a fabulous player. He's got a lot of skill and flair about him. Yeah, we've been keeping an eye on him and Intermac, DuPont, the whole team basically for a good few years now, and we've seen their development. So, yeah, obviously devastated for Intermac, and it's just so unfortunate for him, these things. But with Jalibert, he's right up there in terms of world-class 10, so he slots straight in for me.
Bowden, how does 2021 inform you guys this week? How does it prepare you going in? Different circumstances, but obviously, same venue, be a big crowd. What did you learn from that occasion?
Yeah, excuse me. A lot of the guys, we've all learnt so much in recent years in particular, but the way the French put on an event in terms of the atmosphere, how they get behind their team, their ground announcements, the performance, it's like a show. So obviously home crowd advantages will be an influence, but we'll just treat that as energy and fuel, and the best way to stop that is to do the talking by scoring more points. So it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere being the first game up. There's no doubt about that. Stade de France will be it'll be a special occasion, and these French boys have been waiting for this moment for a long time, but so have we.
And Aaron, you're a guy that embraces the emotion, and clearly there's going to be a lot of emotion for you through this tournament. Is it something you look to keep a lid on early on because you don't want to play your whole tournament in the first game, or do you kind of let the lid off and show everything?
I think I've learned in time to my emotions give me a lot of energy, but also you can't wander your mind too far ahead than the current moment. So for me, it's about enjoying the day, enjoying what's in front of me, and being open in that moment. And as you get to this part of your career, you just really, every day is a special day, and it doesn't get more special than being an All Black at a World Cup, and getting up each day trying to be the best version of yourself, add to the team, and just trying to not go to the game tomorrow because it's not tomorrow. So I'm just trying to. It's good to be in Paris. It's finally here, and we'll just build nicely. But like you say, emotions can be overwhelming, but I'll definitely put plans in place to keep me grounded, keep me focused on the current moment, and trying to enjoy each moment for what it is, whether that's seeing France, whether that's getting better as a rugby player, whether that's connecting with my brothers and my teammates.
Aaron, I think you guys won the coin toss, so you're technically the home team, which I think means you get to wear black and France whites. Does that matter to you guys at all? Is it a good thing?
Well, I guess you've just informed me. That's great. It's just fate, I guess, of a coin. Like those kind of distractions are out of your control. So it's about us still have the silver fern on your chest, no matter the colour of the jersey. But yeah, it's just one of those things.
Bowden, just given the quality of the teams this year and also the way the draw has been stacked, people are billing it as the most competitive World Cup in history. Is that the sense you get, given you've been in a few now?
You get the sense of that just in recent years with the development of a lot of nations, the progression, the depth within squads, and it's going to be a fantastic tournament. And there's been a lot of chat around the quarterfinals and the draw and that sort of things, but to be honest, we haven't looked too much past this first game. We're honing in on this, and obviously you do your plans as coaches. They'll be looking at bigger pictures, but there's nothing much we can do than prepare for France on Friday night.
Aaron, you and Bowden have played a lot of rugby together. What does it mean to be at your third World Cup alongside each other?
Yeah, we're both, young men. I'm a couple of years older than Bodie. But, we've sort of grew up together in this team, good mates, and there's a few of us that have been together since 2012, and yeah, it's really special, mate, and it's nice to, see familiar faces. You can see triggers on each other if something's up, or when you've been with each other and experienced so much together, highs and lows, it makes it enjoyable too. So there's a good crew of us that have been together a long time. And as I was saying before about those sort of last moments together or trying to get better and pushing each other, and I still feel like we're young men that are 20-odd and competing against each other, whether it's for, a simple drop kick or over some cards. So you relish these moments because, personally for me, it's coming to an end, and you just want to enjoy hanging out with your boys and trying to get better and do something special. And that's what I'm doing, and you just sort of live in a dream at the moment, and you get to do it with some of your best mates.
Hi there. You've talked a lot in this press conference generally about the pressure that you guys are facing, but it's nice to hear you playing a bit of cards as well. How are you as All Blacks switching off? Is there like FIFA going on? Is there a pool ladder? Are you all in France now, so you're playing ball and pétanque? What's going on to switch off?
Yeah, there's been a bit of FIFA. In Germany, we were playing FIFA.
Who's good at it?
Not me, that's for sure.
They were playing 2v2, so it was, it sounded pretty feisty.
There's a bit of golf. Some of us play golf, cards, just anything really. Bit of sightseeing. It's good to get out in the city of Lyon and experience that.
We went out for a hunt for a good flat white and a croissant the other day on our day off, which was nice, and scootering around and making sure you ride on the right side of the road and try not to get taken out, and it's been good. And just the little things, I think, and the pressure of this big game, you've got to kind of conserve your energy. It's very hot for us, so everyone's been pretty much focused on our energy levels and our recovery, and everything's aimed for Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam, this is your fourth Rugby World Cup. What do the previous three inform you about what you're facing Friday night and as a tournament as a whole?
Yeah, it's a massive privilege. Looking at the start, go to one at a World Cup's massive. So it's not lost on me how awesome this is, but it's all individual stuff. And as we know, rugby is a team game. So looking forward to the challenge of the opening game at a World Cup against the home nation. So it's going to be massive, and I'm really excited as the rest of the team is.
You've played France in a couple of big World Cup games, 2011, 2015. How do they rise to the occasion at the tournaments, and what do you need to be prepared for?
Every World Cup's different, every team's different, so comparing different games is a little bit hard, but at the same time, every team you play against, whether it's the home nation, but especially France, that they rise and play some of the best rugby. So we need to be aware of that, but at the same time, the old cliche comes out, we need to worry about ourselves first and try to deal with what they bring.
what are you expecting from France on Friday night? Because clearly there'll be a lot of emotion around.
Bonjour à tous. Hello, everyone. I always wanted to. Yeah, no, it's, one of the best teams. So, it's going to be a physical game, and they've got quality players across the field that we have to, keep an eye out. And but lately, this last week, we've kind of been just trying to nail our game and really prep well and just nail our jobs and our role and of the threats that they pose, because we know what's coming. So we just got to have to wait till Friday night.
And just one for you, Sam. Obviously, you had a good start to this year, but the narrative around this team changed a little bit after Twickenham. Can you just talk about the mindset within the group? Was Twickenham a bit of a wake-up call for you, a bit of a reality check, or have you, do you just put that as one of those days at the office?
It's never nice to, as an All Black side, to lose to, a great side in England like we did. But at the same time, we can't dwell on that. We live in the past because it's in the history books now, so we've got to look forward. And as Artie said before, we've had a really good week so far, and we've just really tried to concentrate on us. And I think the boys have done a great job of that. And it's kind of that weird little calm before the storm that we're in at the moment. So we're trying to rush slowly to get to the game, which is going to be challenging as it always is. But the excitement level is there, and first one at a World Cup, how special.
Hey Artie.
Hey Ollie.
France, host nation, first up at a packed out Stade de France. Is that almost an ideal way for this group to begin your campaign with something as I think?
Yeah, I think every player's occasion and able to play at a World Cup, and to do it against the host nation and the home team in front of a sold out crowd. I think it's anyone's dream, any rugby player's dream. So we're blessed to be able to do that, and yeah, can't wait.
And how's Dalton been this week? Obviously comes onto the blind side this week. What have you sort of seen from Dalton at training, and how's that trio formed, I guess?
Yeah, Dalt's is Dalt's. He puts his head down and he works. Not much. He doesn't say much. He just goes about his mahi. So that's very good, and it's obviously Skip's doing his thing. So yeah, it's good to play with the brothers, and it's going to be exciting on Friday.
Sam, with complete understanding and respect for the fact that you don't want to necessarily, I'm going to ask about you anyway, are the emotions different for you a fourth and final time round?
I can't say I've thought too much about it. I've thought about it a little bit, but there's always so much to do preparing for all those things that we've already talked around: World Cup, first game, host nation against a team that's playing outstanding rugby at the moment. So it's actually really easy to kind of put all that to one side. I've played alongside people and players that achieved some amazing things, and they've all said to me at different stages through my career that you actually look back at a lot of these things when you are just having a quiet moment at home or you're with your family, and that's when you actually sit back and just kind of have that little nod of the head and go, that was actually amazing what we did achieve, or you've achieved as an individual, but that time is not now. So I'm quite happy just to leave that to one side and get on with what I need to do.
And there's been a lot of talk this week about the very particular pressure that goes onto a home nation hosting a World Cup. As someone who's been there, who's felt that, what sort of pressures do you think France are under this week?
Yeah, 2011 to play at home was awesome, but it was just everywhere. You couldn't escape it, and I think that's what actually gave us some confidence and a lot of motivation, because you had friends, family, general public that were just so supportive, and I know France will be using that to motivate them. So it's on us to go out there and play really attractive rugby that we wanted to, and extra support.
Hi guys, 2 questions. Told a great party, a great pressure at the side for the French team. What do you think about that? And do you think that this Friday was a great party for you?
Yeah, I think the atmosphere is going to be awesome. I think no matter who you're supporting, whether you're there as a neutral supporter, the party atmosphere will be awesome. But for us as players, this is a chance that we always love to embrace. We get to go out there and actually play. That's the fun part of the week, not having to train and prepare. It's actually the time we get to just enjoy doing what's playing rugby, and us will be pretty excited just to get stuck in rather than waiting and talking about a World Cup.
And it's for Ardy. You have great. He's a great player.
Yeah, he's a great player. I'm a big fan. So it's weird. You know, it's that play on the other side of the world. You know, you tell yourself it will be against them. You know, and this Friday night get to do that. So I'm very excited, and just love the way he plays. Yeah, looking forward to the challenge.
Sam, for the first time of a long moment, the favorite of the first game of the World Cup. Something for you to be an outsider, or is it it helps you in the motivations to be the favorite?
For us as players, we don't read too much into who's favourite or who's not. We just have to deal with what's in front of us. So it's kind of a bit of a boring answer, but we don't look too much into that stuff. We know that we've got to go out there and play good rugby, and we know that every team we play is tough and challenging, and France will be exactly that on Friday night.
We are from Japan, NHK, so this is for you. So this is a very specific question, but who is judging the sign of the line-out during the game?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So who is judging the sign of the line-out during the game?
Oh, who's calling the lineouts?
Yep.
We have a number of guys that can do it and have done it in the past. So, yeah, a few different guys will do it. I've done it before. Scott's done it. Brody's done it as well, even though he's not playing. And Tubo's done it as well. So it's actually great having a lot of guys there that have done it. And it's never just on one person. There's always information being fed back into the guys that are in those roles. And, you know, Ardy, for example, has called lineouts for his club too, so it's always good having people with that skill set to help out. It's never just one person on it.
This week, Nepo and Ethan in the lineup.
Hey Sammy, you're looking fresh. Good to see you, brother. Up to this week, how have our backs been going, you know, with the heat and being in France, and especially now in Paris?
How the backs go,
Yeah.
I'll pass that to Ardy because he's fast.
Nah, they're good. They're wearing their ankle socks, getting their tan on. But they're good. They're looking fast.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Good to see you, Gio.